Hello and welcome to MySecurityTV and our Tech and Sec Weekly. My name is Chris Coverage. I'm the Executive Editor with MySecurity Media, and this is our Friday morning episode. We will be joined by Anthony Stevens, the founder and CEO of 6clicks. Now, we've got an exclusive this morning, I'm pleased to say. They have got IRAP assessment protected now for government. So they're launching their 6clicks for government services. So we'll hear from Anthony, and particularly on the IRAP process, which is a high-level area in terms of the assessments that companies have to go through to get that IRAP certification. So very interesting, and pleased to have Anthony back on since they last raised $5 million. So let me bring on Anthony Stevens, the founder and CEO of 6clicks. Anthony, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here. Thanks, Chris.
We had you on not that long ago, actually, so it's good to have you back on so soon. And on your way to be a billion-dollar company, I think was the main one, and also COVID native was the other key term that came out of that session.
Yeah.
IRAP protected for 6clicks for government. Talk us through. It's we haven't had a sort of IRAP assessed or certified company come on following the process. So appreciate you using this platform to sort of tell the story and make the announcement. It's under embargo at the moment, but all the details will come out next week, so let us know what the update is.
Yeah, of course. So we launched our platform sort of about 18 months ago. As you know, it's used by advisors and businesses to help them with cyber risk and compliance. The thing is that we saw a gap in the market, essentially related to the needs of the public sector, particularly obviously defence, local, state, federal government. In Australia, and their information security needs are obviously unique and set out under the ISM, and so we sort of invested in building an instance of our platform that we've had assessed now, independently assessed to the protected IRAP protected level. And we're announcing that next week. I guess we're announcing that today. So we're announcing that next week formally across a number of channels. We've been working with Microsoft on that. So our technology stack runs on the Microsoft Azure platform, and so in order to be at the IRAP protected level, we've got another instance that's running on the Canberra data center instance, or Azure data center instance. And as I said, we've been through the assessment process and now able to offer that as a very unique service, being a sovereign business to the public sector. So very exciting.
Well, maybe talk us through the process, because I know there'll be a number of CEOs and sort of cybersecurity companies very interested in this. I'm interested more from the assessor's viewpoint too. I've always kind of looked, there's IRAP assessors are in hot demand. And the process, where the initial process that came through, was it always on your roadmap, or again you saw the gap in the market, that chatter around IRAP assessments? Right. And they went through that policy review last year as well. I'm pretty sure it was last year, and the policy is dated December 2020, so it's still quite fresh. Yeah. So that's the process you went through. Yeah,
we actually went through the traditional process. Sorry, just to correct something I shared with you earlier, but that said, we saw 6clicks for government, which is the brand that we're wrapping around this offering, as being sort of fundamental to our strategy right from the early days when we founded the business back in 2019. And the reason for that is to obviously recognise the fact that so much of the activity that gets done around risk and compliance in the public sector is manual, right? Like even the IRAP assessment itself, and the assessors that work in that space, and anyone who's sort of trying to tackle risk and compliance in the public sector tends to just use spreadsheets and Word documents. And we looked at the market and said, okay, well, we've got some fantastic technology. We've got all the content baked into our platform, particularly obviously the ISM, but we've also got VPDSS, the Queensland standards, the New South Wales standards, all of the content that you would need in the Australian market. And so with that context, we said, okay, in order to sort of get a ticket to the game and distinguish ourselves as the go-to platform for the public sector, we needed to get to that protected level of assessment. And yeah, we completed that recently, and so launching that service in a number of different forms, from next week.
And the IRAP assessment process, in finding an IRAP assessor, did you have any partners along the way, or did you use a firm or an independent assessor?
We used an independent. The reason for that is we obviously, our business model is to do, we work with a number of, the consulting firms out there, right? So we thought, for reasons of sort of independence, it made sense to go with an independent.
Yeah, they must have been upset. They're like, "Oh, we've got a conflict of interest. We already use you. We can't use use our own assessors, right?"
Yeah, we wanted to avoid any of those optics or issues associated with conflict. So we picked an independent assessor, and Andrew Robinson, who actually looks after our cybersecurity for us internally and also our go-to-market, has extensive background in that space himself, right? So he's a IRAP assessor, and so obviously knows how to navigate the process.
Did you have trouble finding one? Were they available when you wanted them, or did you have to wait?
I think, like Andrew spent quite a bit of time, finding the right person. We did that. I think, it took a few months. We obviously started that process last year, getting ready for the audit that we just did, in the last month or so. But look, there's not a lot of IRAP assessors out there, right? And as you know, so we got that. Okay.
And what did you learn out of the process? Was it a painful process, expensive process? The part of the review that ASD did, and that whole process was taking up to 2 or 3 years for companies to go through, and it was quite costly. How did you find that process?
Look, I guess we're fortunate. The nature of our business and the software that we've built gives us the ability to, we understand these things, pretty intimately. Practically speaking, we started the process over 12 months ago to start preparing the policies and the controls and working with Microsoft to understand what technical controls, they can provide that, we can leverage, as well as putting our own control frameworks in place. So, it's been probably a very deliberate but slow burn for some time. And so, we got to the point last week where we, felt confident that we've got all the necessary controls in place. In terms of costs, we've obviously got direct costs with auditors to come in and provide us with that assessment. But most of the cost was incurred internally. So, yeah.
And do you find that there's a good cost benefit there? Even worst case scenario, you don't pass, but again, you find those gaps where you need to be. But between the audit and the assessment process, and then getting that certification, and now the opportunities being able to service government, the cost benefit is a bit of a no-brainer for you.
I think it's a ticket to if we look at the market in Australia, we're not aware of any other sovereign, as in Australian-owned, headquartered, managed business with an offering like ours that has managed to achieve that protected level assessment. So in that sense, it positions us really uniquely within this market to service the public sector. So in that sense, the sort of return on investment is pretty straightforward.
Yeah. It is something that companies do. Obviously, we get fed a lot of that PR where, if they get through it, then it is a major announcement for the company. So so good on you for that. And I suppose it's cyber.gov.au has the IRAP update policy on their website, and even down to whether you want to be an IRAP assessor. I think it's only the Canberra Institute of Technology and the Australian Cybersecurity Collaboration Centre in Adelaide and Canberra are running the courses with Tran there over at the A3C. So it's definitely an interesting one to get into. So look, we'll come back to that next week. We'll have the full details on the Australian Cybersecurity magazine website. But thank you for that, Anthony. And the other big news this week, I suppose you couldn't push them both out in the same week, so you're separating it over. But Matt Gyde has joined your board. Talk us through this major announcement.
Yeah, look, we're really excited to have Matt join our board as a non-executive independent director. He's based in San Francisco, which is fantastic as we're seeing a lot of growth and focused very deliberately on the US and I guess markets outside of Australia as well as Australia. Matt's the former global head of NTT Security, which was over $1 billion business.
Yep.
He's got a extensive network, and we're delighted that he's been been interested and has now joined our board. So fantastic win for us on that front, and obviously, as you said, backed up next week with this announcement around 6clicks for government. So
Great.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Well, we've had NTT on before, and obviously Matt is also formerly with Dimension Data when they took that over as well. So how has this just been, like, he's just joined the board? The announcement?
Yeah, just joined in the last couple of weeks. Like, obviously we went through the formalities internally a few weeks ago, but we just announced it this week. Matt stepped down, like he was in his previous role until the end of last month, right? So this is part of his next chapter, if you like, in terms of his career. And as I said, it's been great to have him join.
So it was just a timing thing. He kind of became available.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, we've been looking to get someone of that caliber in the US market for some time. We've been sort of looking at a number of different options. Matt just ticked all the boxes in spades. He's got the industry expertise. He's obviously a fantastic leader. Really great guy to work with. Has a huge network, and lots of understanding of kind of where the market is, but more importantly, kind of where it's going. So that's the kind of support we need at the board level.
Nice. Well, the details, in fact, I'll stick the details, the link into the show notes now. But and you've got there's a comment here from Ian Buttery, who's your chairman. Maybe what's Ian's background?
So Ian's he's the chair of a number of different companies. He's had an extensive background in supporting growth of high-tech businesses, through to successful exits, and a number of those around the world. So yeah, he's been our chairman for a while now, and yeah, doing a fantastic job.
Very good. And you've only got 4 on your board. Are you looking at adding more to that as you grow? You've like you said, you're on your way to a $1 billion business. So 4 of you, it's going to be a challenge with 4 of you. But yeah, what's the process now?
Yeah, we've got our founders, and we've got now 3 independent directors, as well as myself, so there's 4. Look, we're looking to obviously strengthen our board over time, most likely with another appointment in the probably the US market or perhaps the UK market, focus on the areas that we're looking to grow, probably around cybersecurity as well.
Very good. Well, look, if you've got any questions of Anthony, fire them through now. But look, thank you so much. Was there any other updates that you've got coming through before I forget one?
There'll be more. We'll be in touch, Chris, probably in a few weeks' time. There's some really exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. So
no, very good. It's a good one from an Australian perspective. And again, I haven't got it on me right now, but if you want to go to MySecurityTV, you can see Anthony's first session with us on there as well. And again, we'll put these together. We'll cross-link them over. And it's a good story to follow on your way up to $1 billion. When you get listed, at least I'll be able to get some shares. So that's the concept.
We'll keep you posted, Chris.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. That was Anthony Stevens, founder and CEO of 6clicks, and they are now IRAP protected. So they've got 6clicks for government. Best of success, Anthony.
Thanks very much, Chris. Have a great day.
I'll let you go. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.